close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go.
Final time for Brad Touch. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, who gets it done? We're leaning on each other. It's Joey Rainey. It's Andrew Bound coming to the strike. Stone Toby's right there with them. Checkered flag is out. Who gets it done? It's a photo finish for Brad Touch coming to the line.
For the push, I don't know. This is going to be a photo finish.
Oh, Stone Colby taking the checkered flag to the inside. Who's it gonna be? It's a photo finish. Give it to Brendan Burt. Conquers Watkins Glen. Gets turned across the line.
Thank you for joining us, folks. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's a pleasure. Concrete walls, changing pavement, and 14 corners with zero margin for error. Tonight, the MX-5 Cup takes to the streets of St. Petersburg. Apex Motor Club, presented by West Coast Sim Racing, arrives on Florida's waterfront for a race that will demand precision from the opening braking zone. The circuit combines narrow city streets with a wide airport runway, creating constant changes in grip, rhythm, and approach throughout the lap. And the MX-5 momentum is everything. Drivers must stay disciplined through the technical sections, maximize every corner exit, and use the draft without putting themselves in danger. Turn 1 will offer opportunity, but with the field arriving tightly packed, it can also shape the entire race before the opening lap is even complete. Street course racing rewards confidence, but only when it's matched by patience. Tonight, the walls are close, the pressure is building, and every position will have to be earned. This is the Apex Motor Club, presented by West Coast Sim Racing, with MX-5 Cup racing on the streets of St. Petersburg. Let's go racing, folks. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another wonderful round of West Coast Sim Racing. And of course, none other than Apex Motor Club, presenting the MX-5 Fight Night on the round 4 of St. Pete. Here at the 1.77 mile racetrack with a very, low altitude of 3 feet, as we're at sea level, folks. Race surface is dry, but the track conditions are cloudy In the booth, I'm Sauger Boxer, taking from green to checkered flag. Couple keys to the race for us and the drivers tonight. Survive the run into turn 1. Number 2, protect momentum through the street section. Adapt to the changing grip. And of course, build passing opportunities with strong exits rather than aggression. Let's take a look at our starting grid, shall we, and see who started off on the top. Nico Colby and Brandon Birch on the front row. Following that will be Eddie Yakin and Jeremy Fletcher. In the third row, Slater Colby and Jensen McKelkey. And the further back, it'll be Connor Cunningham and Joe Rainey. Row number 5 belongs to Darren Colby and Diego Valderrama. Row number 6 for Warren Johnson and Josh Hunter. Row number 7 for Thomas Divley at the end of the day. And that will round out our starting order. Here we go around the track of St. Petersburg. 14 corners in total, leading us around a very short 1.8 mile track. The current waterfront layout was first raced in 2003, but here we are in 2026. Here we go, ready to take the green flag from Barney the Flag Man. It'll be Nico Colby and Brandon Birch on that first row. Green flag is in the air, and it's green, green, green. A little bit of dipping and dodging out before we get to the start-finish straight, and a couple drivers were hip-checked in the process. But further through the order, it will be the young gun, the number 16, to lead us through towards turn 1, Brandon Birch and Jeremy Fletcher. It's a three-way tie for the championship. We'll have to take a look at the points in a few moments, folks, because it's tight and hectic just as the battling is on the racetrack. There goes the JFR number 22 to duke it out with Brandon Birch for the P2 right now, but is it going to be all for none as Slater Colby tries to throw down the gauntlet as well? This is where the Macau drama happened last time we were at St. Petersburg. This time running, no drama to be found. Fletcher going for moves, sees an opportunity on Birch, who is a little bit hesitant to go for the early defense, and lets Jeremy Fletcher through. The number 13 falls behind the newcomer, Eddie Yakin, to the grid in 4th position. On board with Eddie as we look for the entrance of turn 1. Then we come down the snake through turn 2, down 5th Avenue, on our way to 1st. There's a big attack from the number 25, Slater Colby, presenting himself to the inside door of Eddie Akin. Gap not dissipating as quickly as Nico Colby would like, I'm sure. It is still around 3/10 back to Jeremy Fletcher. The battle for the lead is still very much alive. Taking a look back here at Joe Rainey, what can he do from P7 on the grid? He's in the number 17, up one position in front of Connor T. Cunningham right now, the 502. But there's drama in the background. I think that was Connor Cunningham. No, who was that? Spun out in the background. Valderrama is the driver that spun out in the background. Fletcher still chases down Nico Colby in his pursuit for P1 and the championship lead. Will it go his way or will it go the wrong way? At the end of the day, the opening is there for Jeremy Fletcher, but the hip check had to be given, and we're going to go 3 wide through the chicane of 6, 7, and 8. All the way down, we make it through Cluny to 9, where we had the Macau drama on the opening lap. No drama to be found this time around either, as the drivers know the difference between right and wrong this time around. Fletcher again on the 36 of Birch. Birch clatters with the wall. He's going to lose out ground to Eddie Akin behind. Eddie Akin in the number 13 is charging up through the field one more time. Slater Colby also wants a piece of the pie. He's going to try to get himself set up for an optimal run towards turn 1 now. Tucking out of the slipstream is the 22, going a little defensive on Birch's charge for P2, but it's not gonna happen this time around for the number 36. And just as I say that, it looked like he was gonna make that one work, and the 36 gets a big moment, and he's gonna clatter with the 17, and that's gonna send it around, and that'll be a big Code Brown moment for the 36 and the 17 of Joe Rainey. Have to see if we can get a replay of what happened here to Birch at the end of the day. Oh, and it looks like there's just 2 does not go into 1 scenario. And that'll end that battle. But the competition caution can still bring life to the party, folks. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned and make sure that you like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notifications whenever we go live here on West Coast Sim Racing. Plus, if you like what you see and you want to get involved, make sure you get inserted to the West Coast Sim Racing Discord. Big leap of faith there from the 22, from the 16 to not turn in there and ruin both of their races. But Nico Colby staged this one from a long way back. Saw the writing on the wall, a little graze up against the wall. You heard the squeak of the chirp of the wing mirror basically folding in there as Nico Colby collides again with the concrete barriers here at St. Petersburg, Florida. Now Nico Colby tries something different on Jeremy Fletcher. Goes for a switchback. Fletcher gets a little undulation coming through the sausage. That's going to slow down his run into 11 and 12. The hairpin of 13 and 14 belongs to Fletcher. And then Nico Colby, Slater Colby, Eddie Akin in tow. Everybody trying to get as much draft as possible down the front stretch and then immediately return to the racing line. Here's where things went wrong for Birch on the previous lap. They go right for Nico Colby. The 16 goes up into the lead of the race. Jeremy Fletcher looks to the inside line. Jeremy Fletcher even to the more inside line than Nico Colby could have defended. He falls back to P3. Eddie Akin watches the horror show in front of him and sees that Jeremy Fletcher just went from hero to zero in half a lap. Nico Slater, Jeremy Fletcher, Eddie Akin, Jensen McKelkey. 5-driver pairing in the lead of this one. It's not the usual 10-car bout that we typically have, but I'll settle for 5 cars duking it out for P1 right now. So many alternate lines taken through 2 and 3, all the way down to 1st Street. Fletcher defends squarely in front of Jensen McKelkey, the number 41, who's up 3 positions currently. Here comes the 25 of Slater Colby in the rear end of Jensen McKelkey. Pushing McKelkey along, so is the 13 of Eddie Akin. Trying to do everything that he can to find a podium on his debut. Things have quieted down just a little bit on the streets of St. Petersburg. Look at that in the background. There's Connor Cunningham fighting P6 and running a very quiet but deadly race with that 1 position gain so far. Darren Colby in the number 47 also running a quiet race with 2 positions gained. In the background, Brandon Birch and Joe Rainey trail with 6 and 1 respectively lost on their runs. The trio with their brake discs glowing take a hard charge through the S's on their way to First Avenue out of the first 3 corners. Pass for the lead between Fletcher and Colby. Up ahead, it'll be Colby going wheel to wheel with Jeremy Fletcher for P1. Fletcher checks it in, but it was to no dice to be had for Fletcher. Tries to find out what victory tastes like again and again. Fletcher way to the inside line on Nico Colby. Colby can't defend that one. He was too far inside, he says. Fletcher continues to put on the blocks in front of Nico Colby, who had the momentum coming out of the corner. But again, no dice rolled. Here comes Yakin trying to get around Jensen McKelkey in the background. Here's Jeremy Fletcher doing his cheeky defensive runs again, this time on Nico Colby. He's going to say enough's enough at some point of tonight. More than 30 minutes still left on the clock. It's anybody's ball game for the 45-minute sprint race around St. Petersburg. Drivers continue to fan out into the braking zones, trying to find the optimum line and the maximum grip for their runs. Here's Nico Colby again with defensive positioning on Jeremy Fletcher. Fletcher finds an opening, though, despite all the defensive maneuvers. And Slater Colby as well finds P2 on Nico Colby. Jensen McKelkey up into third. But is it solidified? Not quite. It is now into the braking zone for the final 5 corners. Little touch of grass there for Jensen. The 41 went a little too deep into the penultimate corner. Found himself breaking on the grass a little bit. He was able to recover. Fletcher into the lead of the race. Slater into P2. Nico, Jensen, Eddie Yakin, and Connor Cunningham a little too far back on this attempt, but I'm sure he'll get the charge that he needs here shortly. The way these drivers have continued to battle, I'm sure it's just a matter of time. Nico Colby in the background trying to get stuff done. Not try, does get stuff done. He's up into P2 currently. Slater Colby in the background in third. Jensen and Eddie Yakin. Connor Cunningham drifting into the draft of the cars in front. Nico Colby chases down his brother Slater. And the battle for first continues to blaze here around the streets of St. Petersburg. That was rewarding drivers that have put together clean, repeatable laps, because even minor mistakes can result in major damage. Darren Colby trying to get things done with Joe Rainey here. But no lucky 7 for Darren. Take a look back at the leaders, the top 6. All separated by around 3 seconds now. Fletcher, Colby. The Colby train is here. Where is the remaining Colby? Well, he's down in 9th position right now. Cheers for Valderrama in chat. Valderrama had a big one early on in this event. He's hoping for the competition caution to catch him back up. Speaking of, that caution should be coming out here very shortly. And then the next minute or so. That should bunch up the field one more time and allow drivers that had early incidences to still be able to fight for something at the end of the day. Nico Colby making moves on Jeremy Fletcher, but only finding the rear bumper of it instead. Oh no, big drama as Jeremy Fletcher gets spun around. And we're definitely gonna have to take a replay of that. Competition caution is called. Here's a West Coast Sim Racing replay of what happened here. Fletcher gets hip checked from behind from 16 and then looks to the inside line. And then the door opens itself, and then that's how Fletcher initially gets spun by the look of it. And then Nico Colby tries to go back to the inside line, but then Fletcher goes left into Slater Colby. And that'll send them up into the barriers. We're going to take a quick commercial break, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. One more lap behind the pace car. As we get the entire field bunch up, let's hear your predictions. Who's going to come out on top tonight? Jensen McKelkey now into the lead of this one. Well, I should say alongside Jensen McKelkey and Nico Colby in the lead of this one. as we get formed up 2x2 Noah's Ark formation for the final lap. Who's preserved their tires the best? Is the question I'm asking right now is, who is gonna preserve their tires? Mr. Birch coming in saying that Birch is due. We'll have to see about that. Green, green, green is in the air, and McKelkey takes off into P1 in front of Nico Colby. Side by side all the way down the order. McKelkey leads Nico Colby, Eddie Akeen, Brandon Birch, and then Fletcher recovers into P5. Oh, and it looks like Connor Cunningham had a mechanical failure, and he'll pull over into the barriers on the race start. Here's Warren Johnson living a little bit of a slip up and battling with Diego Valderrama. Going into the final corner, though, McKelkey leads Nico Colby and Eddie Akeen. Comes Nico Colby trying to posture himself to get past Jensen McKelkey. McKelkey puts on all the stops and blocks. No one's getting through on McKelkey right now. First four under a blanket of 1 second right now. McKelkey defends squarely and fairly in front of Nico Colby. The run belongs to him going into the final 3 corners. Whoa, that MX-5 turned into a bicycle as Nico Colby got airborne. Unbelievable battling here for West Coast Sim Racing and Apex Motor Club. Everywhere you look, drivers are duking it out. There goes Nico Colby on Jeremy Fletcher's charge through on Jensen as well. Big drift there from Nico Colby. Able to keep the car beneath him, but that's going to cost his tires quite a bit. Birch still holding on for P3, but just barely. As Slater Colby backs off a little bit, he has his own problems to deal with. There's a bumper gone. There's a pile up. There's a huge pile up. That included a few drivers, McKelkey, Birch. Get a replay of what happened here. So here's McKelkey. But really what happened was with Fletcher and Colby up ahead. So Fletcher goes into Colby once, loses his bumper, goes into him again, then opens the door to the inside line, pushes the 16 out into the tire barrier, unfortunately, and that's going to collect the 36. Oh, in third place. Wowza. And then going airborne will be Jensen McKelkey right over the hood. Now things have settled down a little bit after the drama. Slater Colby and Eddie Akeen are in the lead of this one. Connor Cunningham in third has Nico Colby behind him. Final 15 minutes on the clock, folks. Here we go. There goes Slater Colby and Eddie Akeen, the battle for the lead. 25 now leads the 13. And Connor Cunningham defends back Nico Colby, who's trying to get back in where he started this event. Slater Colby in front of Eddie Akeen. Just narrowly for now. Run into 10. Down Bayshore Drive. You can hear the revving of these little motors. Hear them pinging off the rev limiter. Nico Colby gets in front of Connor Cunningham. Nico Colby gets in front of Eddie Akeen as well through the first sector. I see the Helios on Birch's car. That will help, says Mr. Birch. Where did we see it, Mr. Birch, when it was laying on the floor coming out of turn 10? Oh, man. Let's see. I'm not seeing it. Take a look at the battle for the lead because it's starting to brew over. And there's Nico Colby and Slater Colby wheel to wheel at the entrance of turn 1, but in through 2, it's Slater who's behind Nico Colby. On board, now looking alongside Slater. Final 12 minutes of this event, it's spicing up. Nico Colby leads Slater, Eddie Yakin. And Connor Cunningham. First 4 under a blanket of 2 seconds now. As we gain a little bit of breath between ourselves and the rest of the field. Jeremy Fletcher, after that crash, has not been able to recover, unfortunately. Touch there from Eddie Yakin, excuse me, into Slater Colby. But no harm, no foul. As Mr. Bird says, they're tough. They can handle it. Ten minutes remain on the clock. And the Colby train still is in charge of this one on lap 24. Or will it be, as Yakin looks to find an inside line on Slater Colby? Switches back to the outside line. The number 13 Moses-sponsored machine is there, presents himself once and twice at the apex. Now we'll have the charge and the drive to cut through like a hot knife through butter, but no. Take a look back here at Joe Rainey because he's battling with Jensen McKelkey, former race leader. Colby losing ground to Eddie Yakin, though. And again, same place. This time a more successful attack, but it goes unsuccessful for Connor Cunningham, who loops it all on his own. Promoting Jeremy Fletcher and Brandon Birch to 4th and 5th. The drive for the fast 6.5 minutes of the event. Keen all the way up into P3, back to where he started this race. Can he do any better? He has Jeremy Fletcher and Brandon Birch right behind him to get all over again. Into the final couple of minutes. There goes Fletcher on the attack to Eddie Yakin. The drag race into the braking zone of the first corner. All the way down to the floorboard. Jeremy Fletcher stands on the brake pedal to get it stopped in time, and just narrowly avoids running into Slater Colby. Jeremy back up into P3. Jeremy making hay while the sun shines. A little bit of a rub there to the 25, and the 25 tries to give the love right back to Fletcher, but does nothing to the driver, who's charging back up into P2. Slaughtering those sausages are the MX-5 Cup drivers as they come through the final couple of corners. Only 3 more laps in this event remain, folks. Oh, a little slip up there from the 16. Nico Colby has to keep it under wraps now more than ever. A little bit of damage to the left side as he grazes the barriers. Jeremy Fletcher now going for more late stage drama. Decides not to go for the attack on Nico Colby. Holds back for now and slaughtering over the curbs. Nico Colby, Jeremy Fletcher, Slater Colby, Eddie Akeen, Brandon Birch, Joe Rainey, Jensen McKelkey, Darren Colby, Valderrama, and Connor Cunningham ran out our top 10, but Connor Cunningham is down and out from this one. A little bit of dust kicked up in the background, and Birch picks up the pieces up into fourth as he picks up one from Yakeen. It looks like we will get a bonus lap from the field. Confirmed. Here we go. Last dance opportunities for Jeremy Fletcher and Nico Colby, the championship contenders. Fletcher opens the door himself, bumps out Nico Colby. Colby goes in too deep, bumps out Fletcher. That gives Slater and Birch P1 and P2. Fletcher down in third. Birch defends hard. Fletcher opens the door at the kink. All the way down to the braking zone. Pressure is put on. And it looks like it will go the way of Slater Colby unless something dramatic happens going into the final corner. Just like that, Fletcher gives a little bump and run to Slater at the end of the day, and he's going to get the win. Fletcher, Birch, Slater Colby, Eddie Akeen, Nico Colby, Joe Rainey, Jensen McKelkey, and Darren Colby. Let's take a look at our unofficial results before we talk to the drivers. It was Fletcher, Birch, and Slater Colby. 1, 2, 3. Then it was Eddie Akeen, Nico Colby, Joe Rainey, Jensen McKelkey, Darren Colby, Diego Valderrama, Connor Cunningham, Warren Johnson, Josh Hunter, and Thomas Dively. Go ahead and join the drivers in the interview room and get to talking to them to figure out how they ended up faring on the evening. Let's go ahead and talk to Slater Colby, the number 25, who came home in third. Slater Colby, what a race around St. Petersburg. It felt like deja vu, like we were just here a few days ago.
Yep, we were, unfortunately.
You and I feel the same. We'll have to have a talk with Warren about this track choice, but nonetheless, a good event for sure and a hard charge. 2 positions gained on the evening. It didn't look as easy as it seemed on paper. It says only 2 positions gained and more like 10 positions lost and gained all throughout the course of the race. Talk to us about a couple of the battles that you're faced with.
Yeah, it was pretty much yo-yoing back and forth, led some laps, got pushed back, and then, battled it out, and then got back up front and kind of just set the pace a little bit. Um, Kind of was just saving tires for a while. Me and Eddie were kind of going back and forth. I was just trying to save a little bit of tire, and then, coming into the last part, I undercut Nico and Jeremy, and I was like, I don't even want to be in this position right now, to be honest. But had the lead, and then I knew going to the last corner, I was like, I'm gonna block the inside, and I know he's gonna push me straight to the braking zone, and that's exactly what happened. So, it's all right. Bump for Nico, he couldn't squeeze in there, but I mean, it was still fun. It was, I mean, the car's trying to kill you for 45 minutes, so definitely gives you a sweat to break for sure.
Absolutely. It looked like it. Slater, is there anybody you want to thank or shout out tonight?
You for streaming, Warren for putting on the league, taking over, and vehicle buyers, everyone at home watching, friends and family. Don't want to thank it, but JFR, I guess. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week. Thank you, Slater. Talk to you soon. Let's go ahead and talk to Brandon Birch, who yo-yoed his way back up into P2 right where he started this event after two big drama-filled moments nearly took him out of the race. He kept his head in it and down and concentrated. He drove it back up into a podium. Brandon Birch, how do you do it time and time again to stay calm, cool, and collected to find these points?
It'd be nice to just stay where I start the whole race, but it seems like it doesn't ever turn out that way. But yeah, I know a couple incidents left me backwards, so I was like, man, I just gotta put down some clean laps. I knew they were all going to be kind of getting a little slow, and then obviously they all kind of weighed up a little bit anyway to make the race a little bit more interesting. But regardless, when there's 5 cars in a line, it's going to get slow. So and then when Jeremy crashed and he was coming back up behind me, obviously Jeremy had a little bit more pace than I did, so I let him by, and I was like, I'm just gonna tie a rope to his back bumper, and we'll work our way up. And last couple laps were a little wild, so I ended up just putting it where it needed to be, I guess. When Slater got pushed through, it allowed me to kind of go up on the inside there, and Nico got a little screwed, so it bummed for him, but it happens to the best of us. So that car's very tough on that track, but ended up being pretty good.
It looked like it was challenging, but fun nonetheless. Brandon Birch, is there anybody you want to shout out or anybody you want to thank tonight?
You for the league, or you for broadcasting, Warren for the league, JFR Esports, vehiclebuyers.com, my dad and Steck always watching.
Right on, Brandon Birch. Have a good night and stay safe out there.
Thanks.
Last but not least, we'll check in with Jeremy Fletcher, who came in P1 at the end of the day. I mean, Jeremy, what can be said about your hard charge from basically first to last, back up to first? I mean, how many times were you going to end up doing that? Were you just trying to impress us tonight? Because you sure did.
Nah, definitely was packing everything up, and Nico took first strike. Kind of put me off, and Slater was wrong place, wrong time, unfortunately, and got into him. Came back through the field a couple times, and this track car combo, you have to be super aggressive. So I knew I didn't want to lead the last couple laps. Just kind of took it as they came, all the way back up through the field multiple times, and I've done the same move in real life 100 times. So wait for the last corner, wait for the guy in the lead to hit the brakes, and it's game over from there.
Yeah, it worked out well for you at the end of the day. Jeremy Fletcher, who are you going to shout out and who do you want to thank here on yet another victory with West Coast Sim Racing?
I go myself because that car was dialed through and through the entire time. The whole JFR Esports crew, the Colby family, Rainey family, you for broadcasting, Warren for putting on the league, Slater for taking it like a source sport, and Nico for crashing.
Right on, Jeremy. Thank you so much. Have a good night, my friend.
See ya.
And last but not least, we do have Warren Johnson joining us tonight. Warren, long time no talk. How have you been, my friend?
Could be better, brother. Though that track, I'm very happy that one's done.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a talk with you about St. Petersburg never coming back again.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. It wasn't my choice, but that's okay. Yeah, you can't. All the races can't be easy though. So
They can't all be
Yeah, so
bangers.
another one.
It got to make you cherish the ones that are,
Exactly. Which is the rest of the season, by the way. Are all really crazy. So it's gonna be a good
Absolutely.
one.
No, really looking forward to it. Any new announcements for the league or anything coming up, Warren?
Nope, just hanging in there, waiting for the. Let's see, what do we got? Rest of the week, we got F4s
GTF
at
tomorrow.
VIR.
Yes.
Yeah, F4s at VIR. That's gonna be fun. Where else were we? Are we at VIR?
Well, just relying on you for that information. I'll check now.
No, we were just at VIR. Now we're gonna go to Road Atlanta. That's right.
F4 at Road Atlanta, then Fuji, Watkins Glen, Spa, Circuit of the Americas, Le Mans, Monza, Sebring, and then Long Beach.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. And then we got next Monday. Looks like it's gonna be VIR with GRs. That's where the confusion was. So, but all right, hey, it's gonna be a fun little rest of the season. So I hope you guys are all tuned in, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Warren. Have a great night, my friend, and stay safe out there.
You as well.
With that, folks, we're going to close things out for the stream. We appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for coming to hang out, everybody. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's been a pleasure to take you from green to checkered flag. On behalf of West Coast Sim Racing, on behalf of AK Esports, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notifications for when we go live next. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a great night and be safe out there. Take care.